Welcome to Zoo Nation, where we talk about history as it unfolds and cover the political zoo of a nation that we're living in. My name is Josh.
I'm Nathan.
We're here to talk to you about a host of topics, some occurring in the past few weeks, but also talking about some current day issues. And so Nathan's been out. I know that you people want to hear his take on some things that have happened. So we're going to do that and then also come to the present day. So wanted to talk to you because Nathan has been staying informed about politics, and this is what our job is as creators of this podcast. We're supposed to stay informed, arm you with information, and then present to you what we think is well. And then we ask you to comment in the comment section what your thoughts are, because we want feedback. We want to know what you, the constituency of our elected politicians, think about what we're covering. So to hop right into this, I'm going to make sure we have the audio on. I thought we had it going. But we wanted to bring to you, first of all, I want to discuss Tucker Carlson with you. Because you know that Tucker Carlson was working for Fox. As we know, he did very well. Historic ratings in Fox News, did extremely well, millions of views. And then he gets fired, benched, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Do you have any ideas why this would have happened? And what do you think about Fox News, generally speaking, as a result?
I mean, as far as I know, Fox's claim is it's got something to do with Tucker's mention of Dominion too much, or something to do with that. But that, for me, that's weird, because I don't really recall Tucker really mentioning crazy amounts about, the Dominion voting systems in the first place. Also, he wasn't like one of the front runners of that anyway. So I'm not really sure. It's weird. Also you've got Fox News saying, "Oh, we didn't fire him. We just, parted." It's like, no, you didn't. You fired. Especially because, Tucker's over here saying, yeah, you did. And also now we've got Fox News saying he's in breach of contract, et cetera, et cetera. There's a ton of stuff. It's weird. I'm kind of interested to see where this is going to go.
Right.
I don't know.
Because the claim, to kind of go what you just brought up, so the more recent update is today he made an episode. He's going to Twitter. That's the other thing that Tucker has decided to do, because Twitter has now owned by Elon Musk. He has decided, rather than, because he can't do a show on Fox, they won't let him on the air.
Yep.
He has decided to make clips on Twitter and upload them straight to Twitter.
And he had his first show.
I think it was Wednesday. Wednesday.
Yeah.
And did very well. It is sitting at over 20 million views now. I checked, 22, 23 million. And so
Which isn't that more than he had on Fox anyway?
Yeah, regarding sheer numbers, he didn't average.
But also,
he didn't average that. Now there were times I'm sure he got that, but he didn't average.
But also, if you think about that, I think it's because Elon also retweeted it as well. But even still, that there's going to be a lot of people that follow Tucker, for one. There's going to be a lot of people that are on the Twitter space, and here's the thing, Fox News, average age viewer, I believe, is in their 50s, 60s. What about Twitter? That's reaching young people. So I'm curious, I'd love to know the numbers, because I'm a statistics and numbers guy as far as things go. I always like that stuff. I'd love to know what the age range was that was reaching those 20 million. Now, I don't think he's going to I don't think he's going to keep those numbers, but I think he's going to, it's going to go down, but I think he'll have a decent viewing. Mm-hmm. And especially being on Twitter now, again, that's a younger demographic, as well as some older, but mostly, a younger, our age and a little older, and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for it. But at the same time, I'm kind of worried about Twitter, just with some of the things that have gone on there in the recent, days. So, but Elon's also seemed to have fixed some of that stuff as well. So I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think that anyone else from Fox News follows Tucker? They leave Fox too, basically as a protest of you shouldn't have done this to him and we're out.
I mean, maybe, but are they going to get the following that Tucker does? No. So, like, I don't see anybody doing it as part of a benefit. Like, oh, Tucker did it and benefited great from it. I'm going to, do the same thing and benefit, just as much, if not more. And that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. No. My understanding is some of the people there, especially who came on after Tucker.
Well, right away it was Brian Kilmeade, and I'm not sure.
Wasn't it Hannity that came on after?
They were thinking about giving it to him, and last I heard, they ended up not doing it. They ended up pulling the trigger on that, meaning shooting it in the head. They decided we're not doing that.
But Tucker was always before Hannity, correct?
He was. 8 o'clock. Hannity was 9, and Ingram's 10.
I don't see Hannity saying anything because I don't think Hannity actually liked him.
No.
So,
did I send you the clip of the awkward handoff between them? I told you about it. I told you about it whenever I went to see you. I went to see you, and I told you basically for the viewing audience, and we can put this in the comments section. Kyle Klinsky of Secular Talk covers this. There's an awkward handoff where Tucker had just finished a show talking about the elite, as he always does, and he ends it. And then briefly, he and Hannity are both on the screen at the same time, and because it's a show handoff. And all Hannity says is, Tucker, rich people can do whatever they want with their money. It's a free market capitalist system, and if they want to win against them, then they can just outcompete them. So, great show. Have a good night. And you could see Tucker's face got really confused, kind of like, that's not the point I was trying to make. I was trying to make the point that these people are using their money in the wrong way. They're doing the wrong thing. Not that they don't have the right to do it, you know. Or regardless, it was not a good look because it seemed, and like you said, to your point, I think you could be right. I think if Hannity liked Tucker, he would be putting up a bigger stink about it, tweeting about it, talking about it on a show, saying, this is outrageous, why are you treating him this way? Or he would have straight up quit and said, well, if he's gone, I'm gone. He didn't do any of the above.
Right.
So I think there's no love lost, so to speak, and I think that, number one, I think Hannity's comfortable. Right. I don't think he would leave. And I don't think any of the rest of them have any principle of any kind. So where they would
Fox
leave.
News, like who would you see leaving Fox News anyway?
Maybe Levin, but I think he's comfortable too.
Yeah.
He would be the only one. I would say Bongino, but he's already off. So I mean, there's that.
And that was just they couldn't come to terms. Like Bongino's already covered that one. It wasn't anything at the time, negative or anything like that. They just couldn't come to terms. And Bongino, I mean, he's going to do fine by himself too.
He's doing very well.
Well, he's already doing fine by himself. And
I think interesting thing. So he's on Rumble a lot. And
because he's a huge part.
He's part of it, Mm-hmm. So the thing is, I think that Tucker's challenge is going to be, how do I make a living doing this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it could be a Patreon or Subscribe Star. Locals. He's friends with Dave Rubin, or at least they seem to be very friendly. Yeah. And Locals is kind of like an alternative Patreon. Yeah. He might do that. There's also a subscribe function on Twitter, and if him and Elon get along pretty well, Elon may basically guarantee, I'm never going to cancel this, and he may be able to get money through the paid subscription.
Imagine if he sustained those 20 million viewers, and you put them on a subscription. You know how much money that'd be, just like a $4 subscription.
Well, and as his own,
we know subscriptions cost more than that.
As his own boss, none of it would go to overhead except for himself. Now to his point, Petey got criticized a little bit because the first episode, again, it's the first episode, but it was very different. There was no cutaways. It was just a different kind. Yeah. A lot of it was him just talking, and it was also a lot shorter. It was only about, I think, 10 to 15 minutes long. Yeah. And people were kind of complaining about that a little bit. But see, this is the first episode. I think the production value is going to go up. Yeah. And a lot of the money that he makes, I will say, is going to have to go into production crew. It's going to have to go into... Because think about it. He always had guests on, and he talked to them. And look, some people like him just talking uninterrupted. Yeah. But I think some of the time he's going to want to do that. Maybe as an employee of Fox, he had no real say. You have to have this many guests in an hour.
But I don't think he's going to have any problem finding guests.
He won't. I really don't. He won't. I'm just saying that takes infrastructure for how they come in, how they talk. He's going to have a schedule for you talk for this long.
Yeah.
And he's good at it. He's had Tucker Carlson today,
Yeah,
he's had guests on and done very good, by the way. His Tucker Carlson's today.
He's been doing this
good.
for years. He probably knows how to do it. It's
Yeah,
just a matter of getting it going.
In money.
Yeah.
And again, as his own boss, that's going to be the question: is he good at that, or is he going to have to hire a manager? And to me, this is all achievable. It's just going to take time.
Yeah.
Because he's such a recognizable face. He's getting millions of views.
Yeah.
I think no matter what I said when he got fired, no matter what direction he goes, he's going to make money.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the point there. But different topic switch, although still relevant to Twitter. The documentary is the best way of putting it. What is a Woman streamed live on Saturday. And Matt Walsh tweeted about it, and it immediately started having issues. Because, for example, he tweeted about it. People were able to retweet what he said. Then they were not able to retweet what he said. People were trying to tweet hashtag what is a woman. The hashtag wouldn't go. It would not trend on Twitter, even though so many people were tweeting about it. And then people started directly tweeting at Elon saying what's going on. And then when he got involved, the whole thing changed.
And he was apparently on, I guess, vacation or just out of country.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I believe he was actually out of country at the time. So either on vacation, I don't know if it was necessarily vacation. It was probably work, something like that. Because Tesla and everything else. So who knows? But yeah, I forget where he was. But he was out at the time. And did you see what Jeremy Boring said?
I did.
And everything? Yeah. I can't
put
stand
up
that
a
guy's
bit-
last name, by the way. Jeremy Boring. He is a boring guy. Like, he really is boring, honestly. That's why he doesn't... Does he have his own podcast at all, or no? Just runs the thing.
I don't think... He goes on the Daily Wire backstages and talks
Yeah.
with all the guys there, but I don't
Yeah.
think he has his own thing.
Yeah, there's no way I could stand that guy.
I'm with
I'm
you.
not saying he's a bad...
I'm with you.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy and everything, but no shot could I listen to him talk for, 30 minutes, let alone, an hour, like most of these podcasts go.
Right.
But anyway, aside the point. No, I mean, Twitter basically told him, like, hey, you're not even going to be able to reach your own subscriber,
Right.
like, viewers and stuff. It's
Yeah,
like, now,
yeah.
wait a minute. It's like, okay, I can kind of get to the point of, like, hey, we're not going to, like, advertise this to people that don't even like you. Okay, advertise. I don't want advertisements going, I don't want advertisements from the left, going to me. So it's like, okay, fine, that's cool. Why should advertisements from the right go to the left?
That's not what you said when I found that Bernie Sanders
Oh,
pamphlet
yeah.
in your house.
Yeah, right, yeah. Of all people.
To cover up the Bernie Sanders tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I cover up my Mark's tattoo right here.
You ever gonna get a tattoo one of these days?
No.
Oh man, I was gonna say, man, we should let each other choose.
No,
each other's
that's a horrible idea.
How much do you trust your friend?
Let the YouTube comments decide.
How much do you trust your friend? Yeah.
That's funny.
But no, I don't know. Twitter, clearly Twitter.
So to your
wrong.
point, it's one thing if you don't want AOC getting a bunch of tweets at her. Hey, what is a woman? Because she's not the target, you know. Now and the angry blue check professors, those kind of people, baristas, but people that have clicked follow on Matt Walsh deserve to see it.
So I don't care if it's like, hey, just a heads up, we're not advertising this to everybody. I don't necessarily, I guess you could call that censorship, but also at the same point that's also just marketing to an extent, because it's we're not gonna market, for example, let's say this was a sports thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you market this to somebody who has no interest in sports at all and just I don't know, I don't know.
And what they said too was, we'll let it stream. It can't be retweeted, and it's going to have a warning for, I think, some kind of explicit
content. It had a warning
content.
for misgendering,
yes.
which wasn't even by Matt Walsh, by the way.
No. And so they were going to do that, and then it was when people raised it to everyone's attention that they said, okay, well, the tune kind of changed. And then right after, I know her name was Belle or Bella, she quit over it, apparently.
Yeah, she quit / got fired.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling how that went down is
Me
Elon
too.
said, what the heck?
Yes.
by the way, pack your bags, you're fired. And she's
Well-
like, well, no, I quit. Well, it doesn't matter, you're fired.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably right. I feel like that's right. I think you're probably correct on that. Either that or he was like, one more time and you're fired, and she said, well, I'll just walk now.
Yeah, I mean, something like that.
Similar to that.
I don't think she really had a choice.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she can say, yeah, okay, I quit. No, okay, it doesn't matter. You were out the door the second you did this.
Yeah. So, but that was a big blow up, and the thing is, it did, I think, over 100 million in views on Twitter and over 126,000 tweets. So it did, and it did trend. What is a Woman did trend. Matt Walsh also trended, and it was very, very viewed. Despite there were still versions like if you retweeted it, you couldn't retweet what they retweeted.
Right.
Like, you would have to actually go to the post originally.
Yeah.
Then you can comment, and then you can retweet it. But they really did restrict a lot. And the only argument that I can think of that the left could come up with was, we're afraid that, which, I mean, it's like, well, why not apply this all equally? Is, well, we're afraid that if Nathan retweets Matt Walsh, that Nathan's followers might say a bunch of mean things.
Exactly.
But then it's like, well, how come you're letting people tweet at Matt Walsh? Because they were. So there wasn't a logical consistency, and I don't think, quite frankly, that Elon's to blame. I think it's the people that he left Twitter in the hands of.
Yeah, I think he's kind of learning some of this stuff.
I hope so.
I mean, I hope that he's not to blame. Time will tell, I guess, with some of this stuff, if more of these quote-unquote mistakes happen.
Right.
Because I'm still trying to figure out of how much into free speech is he. I mean, he claims to, believe in free speech, as long as it's not hurting people.
He basically retweeted someone or replied back to a tweet and said, I will work on this now. I 100% believe in free speech, yada, yada, yada. However, that said, I'm not transphobic. I do use people's preferred pronouns, but I think every parent should see this because it's affecting our children.
Yeah.
That's basically what he said. And he also retweeted What is a Woman and said every parent should watch this, which to me is a nice step. That's a good thing to do.
But is that one of those things of just, hey, we're trying to fix the screw up because we got so much flack, type thing? I don't know.
It could be.
I mean, I don't know. It's good for right now. Take the ones where you can, but...
And over 100 million views on Twitter is nothing to sneeze at. That's really good. That's
exactly.
really, really
so,
good.
I mean, hey, it's great. I still haven't seen it. I want to see it.
I have. It's good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I've had a couple of friends tell me, it's really good as well. I mean, I already know what a woman is, so, yeah. But no, I mean, I've seen, snippets, clips from the movie or whatever. No, I definitely want to see the whole thing for sure.
So another thing that happened is black gentleman, and I only bring up the race because it's relevant.
Yeah, of course.
Went on a subway and yelled, screamed, carried on, acted crazy in I don't know the term, former Marine, ex-Marine, Danny or Denny, I forget his name. Put him into a headlock, which turned into a chokehold, and the guy ended up dying. Now, he was assisted by two other men, and the black gentleman that was homeless and acting crazy died. And it led to some controversy.
Also, this gentleman also said, I don't care if I die, today and everything like that. So, this dude was clearly mentally unstable, so there's that. No one deserves to die, so I'm not gonna go there, with any other thing. But this guy this guy did not need to be on the subway. This guy did not need to be out in the public. This guy had 60. Again, I'm pretty sure he had 60 encounters with the law.
Yes.
At least 60. I'm pretty sure. Might be 64 for the exact, but somewhere around that 60 number. Why is he on a subway? Why, there needs to be a limit. I mean, I don't care. I'm sorry. Even, maybe this is extreme, but this is because it's off the top. I'm not really thinking completely with it. But, let's say you've gotten, I don't know, arrested or detained. No, arrested and thrown in jail for drunk driving 10 times. Let's say 10. That's a little much in my opinion for that, but you got arrested for drunk driving 10 times. At what point are you going to say, hey, enough's enough, and you've screwed up enough? Like, at what point do you run out of second chances to where, all right, now you're stuck, like in jail? And I understand there's a tax thing to that. I get it. But at the same point, if it keeps our streets safe, if it keeps other things safe, I know you don't like taxes, I don't like taxes, but if it's keeping things legitimately clean and safe and everything else, I'm cool with if that's how it would legitimately work.
It has to be an efficient use of money.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
And that would be an efficient use of money.
Yeah, of course.
So I get that. But of course, the whole spin, as you know, was he was killed because he was black. Here's an example of a toxic white man.
Wasn't one of the guys helping him out black?
Yes, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we never talk about the people that are also on the other side doing this stuff too. It's like I don't. Race only matters when it fits a narrative, except for it doesn't really fit a narrative here. I don't know. Yeah, my thing is this guy should have never been on the streets. Also, why the heck did it take them 15 minutes to get to the subway in the first place? Like, what's with that? That's got to be that's got to be a problem that's addressed too. I mean, that's ridiculous. 15 minutes? Like, really? Mm-hmm. I mean, anything can happen in 15 minutes. I mean, and the subway, you got to have police close to the subway.
Yeah,
right?
There's just been so many things I keep seeing and hearing of crimes committed on the subway. Yeah. One woman was literally raped on a subway, and people recorded it and watched. Like,
see, that's a crazy thing too.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them were recording it in like a sick way. I think maybe they had the intentions of taking that to the police,
and I get that,
but they still did nothing.
But instead of, I'm sorry, but
and this guy, my point is, this guy didn't just stand by. He actually got this guy into a hold, and what it took was he held on to him until he stopped moving. Which, not saying you should do that, but that's what he did. And it's better than standing by and doing nothing while someone could hurt somebody.
I think what the guy was intending to do was put him in a chokehold or like a sleep hold where, basically you go to sleep. But with the sleep hold, you're only supposed to hold it for like 3 seconds because the brain, like, you hit a certain pressure point or something with a hold like that, and your brain just literally goes into like a sleep mode. And that's what it's for, is so you go to sleep, boom. All right. But he ended up putting him in a chokehold instead, and this resulted. Now, did that kill the guy? I believe so. Yes, of course. Is it like this racial thing? No. Is it accidental? Homicide. What? Yeah, homicide, accidental homicide.
Well, manslaughter.
Manslaughter. There you go. Yeah. But manslaughter potentially.
Could
be. Yeah. So like it, but there's no like first degree or any of that stuff.
No.
So does this need to be looked into as far as legal? Yes. Because again, anytime somebody dies, accidental, intentional or not, there needs to be something done. I mean, I want our judicial system to work, the way it's supposed to. But was this a racial thing? No. Just because, a person of color dies doesn't, due to a white guy or any other person in general, doesn't make it a racial thing, contrary to what CNN wants to say.
Yeah, and Black Lives Matter and all the rest. Joe Biden is just ridiculous. So, speaking of, let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
Have you heard? No, not yay. No, we'll go to that later. I'm just kidding. No, he won't. Joe Biden has announced he's here to finish the job, and I'm sure you're.
What job?
Yeah, the job. No, actually,
he didn't start. You can't finish the job that you didn't start in the first place.
Well.
Demolition, maybe.
No, demolition. Yeah, let's go with that.
But you've pretty much completed that for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know what there is to finish.
But yeah, I mean, what are you trying to finish? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, you've already finished it.
Yeah.
So you did it in one term. What could have been done in 2 terms with Obama, right?
Right.
So,
exactly.
Or Carter, or any of them.
But see, that's what Democrats do, though.
So what we got with almost every time you've got someone announcing that they're running for president, you get a speech of some kind. This was a video a pre-recorded video with music in the background that was
yeah.
heavily edited, and
yeah.
that was what we got. We got a video of him, smiling.
Because they don't want the guy talking. That's the best thing you can do, though.
Yeah, I wonder. I would legitimately be curious how old the audio was.
Yeah.
Like, was any of it from the past few months or from the past few years?
Yeah.
And none of it was recent, because I just wonder how the guy is functioning.
Yeah.
I mean, he may not be able to even speak into a microphone and read off a screen. He's going to get there eventually, where he's going to be reading off a screen and still messing up. Eventually we're going to get there, if we're not there already. I mean, he's hardly ever speaking as it is. So
who's worse, Fetterman or him?
They need to have a contest.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know how there's like epic rap battles?
Fetterman has an excuse, though.
Epic rap battles of history. There should be like epic mumble battles of history.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like that, where they both just like say random nonsense.
Like,
and then AOC could officiate.
Yeah.
She can moderate.
See,
Harris, all four of them.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be the dumbest thing on TV, but hey, it'd at least be a little bit better than Friends. So go ahead.
No, but I mean, I actually feel bad for Fetterman, because
I do too.
He's got an excuse. And I mean, you can make the argument that Biden does too, dementia potential and everything else. Mm-hmm. But like,
Fetterman
actually had a stroke.
He's gone to jail, or not jail. He should.
A lot of Democrats should.
A lot of them should. He's gone to the hospital, which is the opposite of jail.
Yeah.
The hospital for depression.
Yeah.
So I think he actually might realize something's wrong.
But the Democrats are so...
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think at one point with Biden, on the one hand, is he being used? Yeah. But on the other hand, I do think he's also
still conscious and aware.
He's power hungry.
Again, Fetterman's conscious and aware, but at the same point... Yeah, I mean, I think there's a legitimate battle with Fetterman with himself.
So with Biden, just this kind of goes more into just Democrats. We've discussed this happened. I don't know if right before you got sick if Kennedy had announced he's running, but Robert Kennedy has announced to run.
Yeah.
On the Democrat side, he's primarying Biden. Marianne Williamson, who ran in 2020, who was both insane and a communist, although I repeat myself. Has announced she's also primarying Biden. The DNC has announced they are not doing debates. They are having a primary, so you can primary Biden, but they are not doing debates. And in that same note, Biden's not going to be there. At least that's where we stand now.
So does that just mean... Because they're not doing that because to help Biden out. They want Biden to be their candidate. They don't want RFK Jr. because honestly, I think that he potentially, especially in debates, he would ruin Biden for one. I don't agree with a lot of RFK, clearly, and especially because there's a D next to his name. But
there's two.
What do you mean?
Kennedy.
Oh yeah, duh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah. But no, like. But he's definitely, at least I guess, a classical
sort of
liberal. Like today's classical liberal, at least. Like he's not old time classical liberal.
No.
But he's a classical liberal compared to today's.
He's more what was his name? I want to say his name was John Deloney, who ran in 2020. He's definitely closer to John Deloney.
He wouldn't kill the country
than he is Sanders.
Yeah.
I will grant you. That said, he and Sanders are exactly the same on the climate. But on a lot of other issues, to your point, he would be at least better.
And at least like...
I also don't think he hates America.
Right, exactly. I legitimately don't think
he hates America.
Also, he's very anti-vax. He's been anti-vax for a long time.
He is not only there, he's just amazing on the CDC.
Yeah.
There's a documentary out called The Real Dr. Fauci, and the dude produced it.
Right.
And my respect for him went from being down here to like up here.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, even if he does nothing else his entire life, this is a legacy to be proud of.
And he's even talked about, Fauci needs to be held accountable and stuff. So, I think he potentially...
He also believes some things that I would agree with when it comes to how his uncle died. We'll just put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of goes a little bit towards a rabbit trail.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into what, but yeah.
Which
I think is kind of interesting. I think the deep state would listen to that and say, oh, no.
Right, yeah.
We got another Kennedy we can't control.
Yeah.
So...
and so that's... Like you said, I don't think he hates America. Look, do I want him in office? Probably not. No. Well, no, because there's two other guys that I'd rather have in office, clearly, that I think are the better choices, just because also they're more proven in general anyway. But if we got him over Biden, like, one, the country's not going to decay as fast, in my opinion. At least, like, that puts a Band-Aid on the bleeding, to an extent. And, like, I don't know. I don't think that America would, Biden's here, like you said, to finish the job, right? Whereas Kennedy, like, you can't finish. He wouldn't be there to finish that job because he doesn't. Again, like you said, he doesn't hate America, so he's not here to destroy it. In my opinion,
I would be worried that what would happen would be the Democrats would say, "We'll go along with their green stuff,"
but yeah,
exactly. But you've got to give us this, and this.
If he turned into a puppet like Biden has for the Democratic Party, yes, I'd be terrified. But I think that he honestly, like you said, he's another Kennedy we can't control. I think he's possibly another Kennedy that they can't control. So I don't know if he would. Again, every president has done it to where they do something stupid that they shouldn't have, and gone with, the other party and, negotiated or whatever you want to call it. Trump and COVID, for one.
Absolutely.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So, so would he have some fumbles? For sure. But would he be... I don't think he'd be control. I don't think he would take that deal because, again, I don't think he hates America. So... And I think that's the biggest thing, is taking that deal, you have to have some hatred for America. And I don't think he does. I honestly don't think he does. Again, I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff. Like you said, the climate, that's a major thing, in my opinion. And him and Sanders, like you said, are a lot alike, so that kind of is concerning within itself. But, again, if he's not going to get controlled, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh. Like, again, I'd be pretty upset that he won, But I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, America is definitely dying.
So another thing that happened, and back to secular talk, I alluded to him earlier. He covered this, and Kyle is on the left. He is definitely, especially on the economy, but he's also just generally left-wing. He covered this as a Bernie Sanders supporter, and that's why it's relevant. It's an interesting angle. So Marianne Williamson announced that she's running, and almost right after, Bernie Sanders announced he's endorsing Biden. And a decent amount of Bernie Sanders supporters got pretty mad at him and said, why didn't you endorse Marianne Williamson? She's right in line with your policies. And he kind of came up with a statement basically saying, Biden's electable. He's not perfect, but he's done a lot for us, for the progressive cause. And he did not back down. And I just wondered, we'll talk about the Democrats before we go to the Republicans. We need to go to the Republicans soon. I wonder who the Democrats have. Because if the Bernie Bros...
Biden?
Yeah, because if the Bernie Bros don't go for Biden...
I'm telling you, Michelle Obama's coming.
That could be.
It'll be a last-second thing.
First trans president ever. And if the Democrats, like the Bernie Sanders supporters, don't go for Biden, then Biden doesn't get those people that he probably got in 2020. It depends on how the primary goes. If Marianne Williamson endorses Biden, then the likelihood of those people going along with Biden will go up. And I read some polling recently from my show that when it comes to Democrats, Biden does pretty well with young people. He does about 48%. He does much better with older.
Where are these polls coming from?
This was on Newsmax, but from CNN. And look, Democrats are going to reply to CNN polls.
Yeah,
but let me finish, please. Democrats that are older, like 50 to 60 to 70, he does much better.
Really?
68%. He does 20 points higher, which actually to me makes sense because he's familiar. The younger Democrats, Democrats are like AOC, and then Biden gets up and they're like, ugh, they're disappointed with him.
But he still polls well with young Democrats.
So when it comes to, he polls at 48%, not 68%. Now that's according to one poll, and that's also through CNN. But again, Democrats are going to answer a CNN poll. Now to move on a little bit, here's the thing: this is a Democrats overall. when it comes to Democrats overall, according to the same polling, same source, everything, Democrats that say if Biden gets reelected, that'll be a good thing, that it's going to be a good forward step for the country, 1/3 believe that. 2/3 do not believe that. 2/3 of Democrats are like, either, to me, I think probably a third is indifferent, and another third is like, no, which is interesting to me. Now, that's Democrats overall. By age, I kind of broke it down for you already, but that's the polling that I saw. Now, it's one poll. There's other ones out there. But that, to me, I read that, and I'm like, okay, who do they have? If they go with Kennedy, like you said, I think they don't know. I don't know if they can co-opt him. I think they'll try. They may not be able to co-opt him.
I mean, they couldn't control, the other candidates.
Yeah, so there's that on the one hand. On the other hand, I don't know if they can control Marianne Williamson, because she is literally insane. I mean, when you listen to her responses in 2020, she's not only like a Marxist, she's insane. She's just crazy. She sounds like someone. Biden talks like he's someone off of his anti-dementia medication. She sounds like she's off of an antipsychotic. She's actually that crazy. Yeah. She just babbles, and it's just really weird. So anyway, there's her, and I don't see her getting enough. Like, Sanders didn't get it either time. Now you can say what you want about meddling there. Maybe they 2020'd his election. But anyway, regarding Marianne Williamson, I don't see that being very likely, especially because Sanders has endorsed Biden. I think a percentage of the Bernie Bros do go with Biden, another percentage don't. So I don't know who the Democrats have.
Newsom, and
if he primaries Biden, he may not primary Biden.
Well, yeah, I understand that. Newsom and Michelle Obama.
Okay.
I'm still on the Michelle Obama thing.
Do you think she runs?
No, I don't think she runs, but I think the Democrats are like, yo, you got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you must. Like, they're not going to give her a choice.
Oh,
like
this year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
we'll see
what happens.
I don't think they want Biden. I think that's the only option that they've got right now, but I think they're scrambling for another option.
You really think so?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Interesting.
Democrats hate Biden. I don't believe for a second AOC likes Biden. I don't believe for a second that Bernie likes Biden. I don't buy for a second that any of these guys like Biden. Like, I really don't.
Okay.
Like,
interesting.
I don't even know if Jill likes Biden.
Her last name's Biden.
Yeah, I know,
right? Well, which one does she not like? She's not like Hunter, or she not like Joe?
Both
simultaneously.
I mean, would you like Hunter? No. I mean, do you? No.
No.
But, I mean, would you? No.
No, not
exactly.
I'm very grateful I don't know that guy. So that's on the Democrat side. Let us know in the comments. Do they have a prayer? I mean, if you were sitting in a DNC and you were morally bankrupt,
no, they don't, because they don't believe in God.
Right. Would you go with
the most part,
Marianne Williamson, or would you go with Kennedy, or would you go with Biden, or would you be pushing for Michelle Obama? Who do you think number one, who do you think they're going to run? Number two, who do you think that they should go with if they want to actually try to win, and not win the way they won in 2020?
You know, it'd be a cool debate. It's not going to happen, but a cool debate would be Kennedy versus DeSantis, if those two were.
That would be interesting.
That would be a very interesting debate.
It would feel more like old debates, not how
like an actual debate
have turned into. Yeah,
exactly.
Not
just name calling and all this other stuff. Like, this would be an actual debate, and people would actually have to make, for the most part, an educated decision.
That's true. That would be very interesting.
It would be, yeah.
So when it comes to Republicans, so we're gonna go in chronological order. You actually sent me this ad. Trump released an ad before the next story we're going to cover, attacking DeSantis.
Yeah.
You remember the one, basically, Trump endorsed DeSantis. DeSantis is running against him.
That was
he was behind by, I think, 19 points, no, 17 points, something like that. And then
I don't even know. Was that... I want to go back and stat check.
I've seen data that suggests that, but to me it looks like it fluctuated, which is to be expected.
Right. Yeah. So.
But basically,
it was probably true from one poll.
Basically, he rode Trump's coattails. He got endorsed by Trump, and now he's challenging Trump, and he shouldn't do that. And then, of course, it was a paid by Trump ad. Then, then DeSantis ran later. But first of all, what did you think of the ad? And then we'll go into DeSantis' decision to run.
That original ad was weak.
Okay.
Because here's the answer to, like, why would the same guy that you helped get elected run? Because what happened, bro? I mean, that's the only thing that, like, if those two get on a debate stage which I don't think Trump will against DeSantis. I really don't. Because if DeSantis was smart, all he's got to say is what happened to like the Trump that, because here's the thing, I think Trump would say, why are you running, against me? Why can't you? Why aren't, like, I think that he would think it's a smart play or whatever, and say, why are you not staying here in Florida and everything? That can't be a smart. He'd say something like it's not a good play, et cetera, et cetera. And I think DeSantis would be like, well, what happened to the old Trump? What happened to during COVID? What happened after that? Et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. But the ad itself, I think it's weak for that reason, because it's like, dude, the reason he's running is because, one, I think it's his time. I think there's a political time, for running.
But does that speak well to DeSantis' character? Like, hey, it's your time politically.
I mean, does it have to? I mean, it's your time politically. I mean,
or should he, so to speak?
Like, what I'm saying is, you have an opportunity to do something. Like, okay, like if it's, are you going to start a business? Are you going to start a bit? I mean, you could start a business at 60, but you're probably best in your prime doing it, like in your 20s and stuff like that, just because you're more physically fit and everything to do it instead of your 60s. You get what I'm saying? So, like, I just think it's a good time for him to do it. So, do I think that's the only reason he's doing it? Absolutely not. But I think it's definitely his time. Like, yeah, it's if he's going to run now and next election cycle, if we have one, will I'm going to forever say that now. Yeah. But now and next election cycle are his like time periods. Okay. Maybe a third one, but for sure now and next election period. So I think he had to, for the most part, take this shot just to kind of see. And then also, I think there's, hopefully to hold Trump to the fire. Because, again, I want both these guys to be held to the fire to an extent, too. So
the way I view it is, I think the ad had... So... If I were in Trump's shoes, you have to do that. You have to hit him on every angle, and I think that's an angle that you can. Because he endorsed him, and he wouldn't have even been governor of Florida if he hadn't endorsed him.
So you think...
Arguably. Now, we can't tell the future. There's that. But the thing is, so that happened. That's number one. Number two, Trump...
But he didn't get him reelected.
No, he didn't need to.
Exactly.
He had a proven track record. I'm not disputing that at all. That wasn't a claim that Trump made either. Trump didn't say, "Oh, I endorsed you in 2022 and you got reelected."
From what? Not 8 years ago. From what? 4 years ago?
Let's see. So 2022. No, he didn't go in 2016. He went in 2018.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be 4 years.
4 years.
See, and I get mixed up on that too. Senators, I think, are 6. Governors are 4, if memory serves.
Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, because that was the same for McMaster in South Carolina.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah.
So regardless, I think that's a argument that Trump has, and because what was DeSantis? I think he was a representative, or maybe he was a senator. Yeah, he was a senator later. First representative, then a senator. Then he runs for governor, and Trump endorsed him in the primary, which then led to his victory in the general. So to me, I think that's an argument. I think the other one is, say what you will about Trump. I know he's not perfect. I, especially on Telegram, have been very critical of Trump.
Yeah.
That said, you can't look at those 4 years Trump was in office and say it was bad. I'm not strawmanning you. I'm just saying you can't say that. So what would DeSantis come in and do better on is DeSantis to prove. DeSantis is going to make that case. I'm just saying it makes sense for Trump to say, I did a good job. I'm running for re-election. You wouldn't have been governor without me. And so I'm just saying the ad on its own, to me at least, makes logical sense.
Now, here's something to kind of, and I kind of agree. I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to the Steve Deace show. And he had an opinion, and I kind of agree, because he was actually on the Cruz campaign and everything like that. So,
I wondered. Okay.
So he knows politics for sure. And he would, he brought up the track record thing, because everybody's talking about, the track record, et cetera, et cetera. And he was saying they both have essentially the same level playing ground as each other, because yes, Trump had the presidency. 100%. But second to the presidency, in his opinion at least, and I kind of agree, one of the most major offices is the governor of Florida.
Sure.
So that specifically Florida.
Sure.
Like just because it's one of those major states as far as for voting, for votes and everything else, and you get all demographics of people as far as like left, right, center, communist, etc. That for the most part has been a purple state. And I think still is for sure.
Well, it's red now.
Oh, I mean it's red now. But I after DeSantis, I don't know.
I think you're right on that.
I think it's red now for sure. It's definitely red now because of DeSantis, 100%. But the next person coming in, I think it goes back to purple.
Big shoes to fill.
Also, plus, here's the problem that I have with that. A lot of people, have migrated to Florida, so therefore making it more purple, in my opinion.
All that being said, does that mean that it is time to leave your office early? Because that's what DeSantis would be doing. He, instead of leaving in 4 years, he'd be leaving in less than 2.
Well,
he just got reelected.
I mean,
shouldn't he stay governor of Florida if you want to keep this red?
Didn't he pass that thing where he can run, and then if he doesn't lose it, he still stays?
If he does lose the primary, he will stay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you guys.
If people want him to win, that won't happen.
Well,
he leaves being governor.
Yeah, I understand that.
So the amount of red in Florida, that amount of time is shortened, is what I'm saying.
Prematurely. Should that all fall on, like, we can't lose Florida. Okay. But that's not just dependent on Ron DeSantis. That's dependent on the people in Florida. There need to be people out there in general.
Sure, not disagreeing, but you just said that you think that when DeSantis leaves office,
I think it goes to purple. I'm not saying blue,
so
but it's definitely purple.
If he leaves office early,
historically it's purple.
If he leaves office early, it goes to purple sooner.
Yes, and it's a 50-50 thing, but it's a 50, and that depends on the candidate.
I'm with you that
because if it's a true purple state, that's dependent on how strong is each candidate.
Sure.
In my opinion, unless rigging, you cannot buy a purple state. You have to be the better candidate.
Sure.
In a red state, clearly, the red candidate, the Republican is going to get voted. In a blue state, blue candidate, Democrat gets voted, clearly. But in a true purple state, I think the better candidate actually, or at least better debater, whatever, actually truly wins.
Frankly, who has any more money behind them?
Right. Well, yeah, that too.
In some ways.
Yeah, money does win elections too, but I want to give more credit to the American people personally, especially in like local elections, like state and stuff like that. So at that point, it's up to the. It's up to the Florida, the Floridians.
Populace,
So I don't want to put all that weight on him personally. And actually it would put more pressure on the Republicans, which I hate saying this because, it's like put more pressure to actually grow a backbone, and which we know with McCarthy and everything, they still don't have a backbone.
Sure.
But it at least does, yeah, I mean, I'm worried about business as usual again.
Sure.
I of course I am. But if we actually get strong candidates in there or younger candidates that truly do believe what we believe and stuff, hey, go for it. And plus, if he can do what he did to Florida and do it to America, I mean, what's wrong with that?
So
because then he's fixing 50 states instead of just
right.
one.
But we have a candidate who has been over 50 states before. That would be Donald John Trump. This guy hasn't done that before. I think, and we're going to go to the other candidates in a second.
Yeah.
I think everyone that's running the Republican primary is going to realize how hard it is to campaign for president.
Oh yeah.
The ones that haven't done it before. And then if they get in, how easy Trump made it look. Now, Trump had a heck of a hard time.
Yeah.
But he still made it look easy because he was a big top executive at a company, and they went from doing that to being president. They've all got big shoes to fill as a Republican nominee, and then the other question is, well, what kind of a man are we sending up there? So to finish the sentence, Christie, as of 2 days ago, announced a run, and as of yesterday,
to Duncan or Krispy Kreme?
No.
Oh, okay.
And
he needs to run,
dude. Come on, Mike Pence. Don't. Why would you attack the physical appearance? Okay, by that logic, so does Donald Trump. I mean, okay.
He's a rhino, but he doesn't look like a rhino. Looks more like an elephant.
So, well, he's Republican.
Well, that's just
they're all Republicans. So, regardless,
he's a jackass though.
Who?
Christie.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say no Biden.
Well, yeah, that too.
That too. So, and that's his mascot for his party too. So anyway, you got that, and then you've got freaking Pence decided to run yesterday. He announced a run, and so reactions, just generally speaking, to Christie obviously ran in 2016. Pence ran in 2016, but he was Trump's running mate.
Yeah.
So that's a bit.
Did he run for president?
No.
Okay, I
don't think
so.
he ever has. He was I think he may have been a rep for a little while. He was a senator. He actually was a radio host for a little while too, and then he became governor. Governor of Indiana, and then obviously was chosen to be Trump's VP. So that's what happens. Yeah. And number one, when it comes to Christie, are you surprised he decided to run?
No, because that's Christie.
Okay. Were you surprised that Pence decided he was going to?
No.
Okay.
But now here's the thing with Christie.
Mm-hmm.
I think Christie knows he's going to lose, but he's playing for a VP spot.
For somebody.
For Trump.
Other than really?
No, for Trump.
Who?
I think because he did get behind Trump.
He is laying into Trump right now, man.
But see, here's the thing. I think if Trump gets the vote, he's going to pick a middle of the road VP.
I don't see it being Christie.
Would be Chris Christie, or it would sadly be what's her name?
Our former governor?
Yeah, our former governor.
Haley.
Yeah, Nikki Haley. There we go. I blanked out.
I'm glad you're lucky. I'm glad you forgot her name.
Yeah, but no, I think it would be either her or Chris Christie. Maybe Rubio, but not really. He's not as middle of the road, but I think Trump, unless he shows that he hasn't changed, which I think he's changed a little too much. He said that Ron DeSantis is too pro-life, and it's like, wait a minute, you're the dude that literally, stopped Roe v. Wade, or at least caused that to happen, and it's like, wait a minute, and you're saying you're now reversing on your opinions. So I don't know. I think he's gonna end up. I think that Chris Christie is kind of playing for a VP spot, and then I think that Nikki Haley, she actually thinks she has a shot. She doesn't, but in the long run, I think she's definitely going to play for a VP spot for sure.
For somebody,
Trump, I think, because she's not playing for DeSantis. She had a whole spiel on DeSantis and Disney.
Yeah, I did see that. That was one of the
worst. Which was stupid.
I don't know who she was playing to, because
don't either.
Everyone in the conservative movement was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, she was promoting DeSantis.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know.
DeSantis just needs to take that as an ad and just run with it.
That whole thing was dumb.
Yeah. That'd be a great DeSantis ad.
Yeah, I don't know where she was going with that or what the idea behind that was. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think she'd go with. I don't think she'd ever compete for a VP of DeSantis. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be Trump.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he would choose her, but I could see that she's playing.
I think he would.
That she's playing for that. He might. That would be interesting.
It'd be interesting because people do like her on foreign affairs to an extent,
which is not what the VP does.
Well, I understand that,
really.
But a lot of people want to say, well, the VP can be a voice in, the bug in the ear of the president, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is that guy's Trump. Really?
It might be good. He tends to listen to his advisors a lot, so it might be good if he picks a good one.
What advisors does he listen to?
All the bad ones.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll give it. Yeah. Well, but then he's got this stuff.
To me, that's why he endorses McCarthy. That's why he endorsed Mitch McConnell. I don't think it was him naturally. Maybe it was. I think it's his advisors.
Well, also either that or he just has bad judgment.
Maybe. Well, in either situation.
But then he's also got a history of not listening to his advisors, and then he still does something stupid.
Again, that's a mixed.
Well, 50-50 on
that's
that.
That's a mixed record.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my point. Maybe if he has a really good VP, which to me he should not pick Christie. or Haley.
I don't know.
He should pick someone that's
Tim
actually as conservative, if not more.
Tim Scott.
And that's an option. We'll see.
I'd be okay with that.
We'll see. I wouldn't hate that. I just, for VP, I would probably be okay with that.
Yeah,
but and I wouldn't be shocked either because
No.
Tim Scott is such a mild-mannered man. He's not really attacking anybody.
No.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah,
Like Vivek Ramaswamy and him have pretty much said nothing negative.
I don't like Vivek.
Okay, we can go to that another time.
And no, the reason I don't like him is because what he said. One is on the trans.
I didn't hear that.
He said that because they asked, I believe it was CNN, if he would keep the ban on or reinstate or keep one of the two. Reinstate the ban on transgenders in the military.
Huh.
And he said no.
Huh.
Me
Okay.
now me being a conservative, I say. Yeah, no, that's you need to reinstate that because that you got to conserve truth. I'm sorry
People in the military need to know what they are.
Exactly. Exactly. Plus, I'm sorry, but most I'd love to see the statistics of most transgenders. Right? How many of them scream "Death to America"? Do I really want them having weapons that we proudly don't know about and everything? No, I don't. Unless they have some crazy ability that you can't find anybody else to do, right? We have this insane drone that nobody else can operate except for this one person, which somehow I highly doubt. Unless they have some crazy ability that nobody else can do, right? Which apparently, change gender. I mean, I guess that's a thing. But other than that, because that's not, combat, that's not a combat accessory. Except for never mind. That was the joke I was gonna make was PG-13. Anyway, but no, that's not a combat accessory, so no.
I'm not being any help. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but no, I'm sorry. I don't. Plus, he's attacked. He said some stupid things on not Trump, but on DeSantis and everything about how DeSantis is trying to ride a wave, et cetera, et cetera. It's no, he's not just doing this for clout.
I think what you just said about the whole transgender and military thing, Vivek, from what I can tell, is kind of like a conservatarian, and where everyone, a lot of people are, but their libertarian sides in different spaces.
Yeah.
And I think his is more socially liberal.
Yeah.
Than it is government hands off, and because some people define libertarian as being socially liberal and fiscally conservative,
and I can see that.
And I think that might be where that comes in. Which I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if that's. I don't think he did it in other words to gain votes. I think he did it because that's probably actually what he believes.
And sadly.
Because if he was trying to gain votes, he would reverse a lot of his positions because he said a lot of stuff that's really ticked the left off.
And also, sadly, I think that's going to be pretty much everybody in the Republican...
Right.
Everybody's going to say, no, I wouldn't reinstate it.
Trump did it when he went into office.
Yeah, but... changed...
I think Pence would.
I mean, okay, Obama wasn't originally for...
I'll say what you will about Pence. I think Pence would actually instate a ban like that.
Okay, Pence would.
I think he probably would.
But I think that everybody else would kind of just...
do
the political answer around it type thing.
I don't know. I think that...
maybe DeSantis, maybe?
DeSantis probably would. I think Pence probably would. And I think Trump, that's a complete toss-up.
Yeah. It depends on if he's changed or not.
He may evade it or he may answer. I don't know. Or he, like I said,
I think he'll answer because he's not good at evading.
He may. Well, okay. The CNN town hall says otherwise. The time that he was the pro-life question all the time.
Oh yeah, well,
he's very good at it. He actually
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So, but when it comes to, I think he would evade that question, and then in office he would probably do what he did. If we're gonna look at history, what he did in 2017, which is to instate a ban saying you need to know what you are.
Yeah.
So regardless, there's that. When it comes to, I think a lot of people are already saying this, and I think this is correct. I think it's going to come down to either Trump or DeSantis.
Yeah.
I think they're the biggest dogs in the race. I think the only Republican besides Trump that has a shot is DeSantis. Now, some people are saying, "Oh, come on, guys, take it easy on Pence." What would your objections to Pence be?
I don't. There's not. So if he got the vote, he's not gonna.
You mean in a general? If he made it to the general?
If he was the candidate to go against, Biden or whoever the Democrat was, I'd vote for him. Just because I don't necessarily, I believe the guy's a Christian, and I don't 100% disagree. And it's a tourniquet to stop bleeding to an extent. Is he the fix? No, but does it stop bleeding? Yeah, I think he definitely does. And also, again, I do believe that he is a Christian man. For sure. But some of the stuff that I have issues with is he's very on this January 6th stuff, especially when he was asked in CNN recently. He was asked on CNN, hey, would you pardon the J6 protesters and everything? Well, they said rioters, but anyway, beside the point. Would you pardon them? Basically, no. Well, not basically. He said no. And the way he said it was a very liberalish way because not liberalish, media way, because he said it the way the media has been saying it. I would not pardon anybody who, assaulted officers, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, now wait a minute. That's not, yeah. So he's not going to make it just because of that anyway. So, but I mean, that's one of the reasons.
Do you think that sank his chances, or what do you think sunk?
I think he sunk his chances originally back with J6 originally.
Okay.
I honestly do. And he's going to have, because that's all, if they get on the debate stage, all Trump's going to do is bring that up. And all DeSantis is, not DeSantis, my bad. All that Pence is going to do is sit there and say, oh, well, you tried to force me to do this and all that. It's going to be back and forth of, you said to do this. No, I didn't. You said to do this. He said, she said, we weren't there. Where's the, somebody get me the transcript so I can actually find out who's telling the truth on this one type thing.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think he's gonna get anywhere just because Trump's gonna. I think Trump will probably run him over.
So here's the other thing. You alluded to this earlier. You don't think that Trump and DeSantis get onto a debate stage. Do you think that Trump refuses to go to the debates?
There is a chance that Trump refuses to go to debates. If he does, I think possibly his best bet would just go to one, do the best. What was it? The second debate with Biden? Yeah. Do your best second debate with Biden, right? Impression that you can. Don't show up to anything else.
Okay.
I think that would be
interesting.
Just destroy everybody else and then let them fight from the turmoil.
Interesting.
I think that'd probably be his best bet because I think anytime Trump continues to talk, he kind of screws himself up because let's say he dodges or avoids the abortion stuff and everything else well, that he probably won't avoid it well the next time, in my opinion. It's gonna come up again, so it's like, dude, just do it once and get it over with and like make sure it's your best performance. That would be my best advice personally, like just knowing and seeing Trump.
Sure.
Like, yeah, just knowing how he acts in times like that, and because he'll screw himself up, especially in the pro-life thing, because all DeSantis has to do is like, hey, what about these comments of I'm too pro-life to win? Aren't you the guy that literally brags about getting Roe v. Wade? I mean, that's going to get him in a tie. So, that's going to get him bound as is. So it's like, if you can avoid that, just do one debate, and destroy everybody. Do your typical Trump stuff of just destroy everybody. Don't give them time to, elaborate and everything. Do the normal Trump thing and don't show up to another one because, the stuff that you just destroyed them on, will come up later.
Do you think, do you have any predictions of who DeSantis chooses for his VP if DeSantis becomes a nominee?
I have no idea, honestly. Okay. I don't think it'll be somebody middle of the road. Okay. I think Trump would pick somebody middle of the road.
Okay.
But I don't think that DeSantis, I have no idea, honestly. But I don't think it'll be middle of the road.
We're getting a little short on time. When it comes to the race, do you think, again, we agree it's two big dogs.
Yeah.
Are you gonna say who you think has it, or do you think it's a coin flip?
It's right now. I mean, according to Trump, Trump's got it. I want to. The problem with DeSantis is DeSantis has to learn how to talk like Trump as far as go off script, right? Because from what I've seen he does very well reading preparation speeches and everything. And his speeches are great, don't get me wrong. But it's like, you got to do some more personal talking as far as like, just show up to rallies and start talking about, what you're going to do, etc. With like, not no preparation, but like, just bullet points or something like that.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing and I think he'll learn it. I think he'll learn it. I mean, this is part of the process. But that's one thing I think that's holding him back. So right now, if I had to call it, I think Trump would probably get it just because of the inexperience. But I mean, shoot, Trump had the inexperience, along the way when he first ran in 2016. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think DeSantis will learn his ups and downs. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I think it will be a coin flip. But right now, I think, it's not a coin flip right now. I think it's more Trump just because of the experience, So, but that being said, it's interesting how DeSantis has done in Iowa and New Hampshire, mm-hmm. as well as even his show in South Carolina did well as well. Mm-hmm. And he dealt with a protester there. I don't know if you've seen that video.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and he did well off that, So it's like he has potential. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of, is he going to learn?
Are you willing to say whether you're backing one or the other?
No, because personally, I want to see. I mean, I'll tell you, if it was one of those two that get the vote, I will back them against whoever the Democrat is. Yes, 100%. Sure. But am I backing one over the other? No. Because there are things I like of the other, and there are things I don't like of the other. So yeah.
Are there any of the Republicans so far that announced that they're running that you would not back in the general election?
Christie.
Okay, so you actually would what would you do?
I mean, if I had to vote, I mean, he's a rhino. So, yeah, I guess, Christie.
So you would stay home?
Probably.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, because, he's got no plan for one, and second off, he just sucks. So, right. And again, he's a rhino, so Democrat in disguise, in my opinion. Uh-huh. He might be one of those Band-Aid on the bleeding type things, but it would be that would turn a cut into a major gash type thing, in my opinion, because some infected Band-Aid. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, so probably Christie. I would, because I think I'd probably stay home just because of the fact that I would lose hope in our voters in general. It's like, really, this is the best we got.
Yeah.
Like out of the debates and everything, y'all chose this guy. Mm-hmm. I'm out.
I gotcha. I'm with you on that.
What about you on anybody? You'd say you'd vote one over the other, or?
I don't really. I mean, no one cares about my endorsement, so it's hard to say that. I am more for Trump than I'm for anyone else. But that said, I'm very critical of Trump.
Yeah.
But that said, in my opinion, and I've talked about this on Telegram, I don't really see someone else running that's going to be as good as him. Just overall.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm fine with you criticizing him. Anyone, I'm not talking about you. Of course, I'm fine with you criticizing him.
Yeah.
I'm fine with anybody criticizing him as long as it's founded and don't use one standard of rules for one candidate and a different set of rules for another candidate.
100%.
So that's my thing. Regarding the staying home issue, all of them have to work to get my vote.
Yeah.
Really. To me, Trump has proven himself where that's a little bit of a different situation. I would vote for him in the general. I can conclusively say that. The rest of them would have to earn my vote. So that said...
so even if DeSantis got it...
He worries me for the same reason Kennedy worries me. I'm worried about the Trojan horse effect
Right.
with all of the Republicans,
And I
frankly.
understand that.
And look, I'm worried about the Trojan horse effect to an extent with Trump. Because what did Trump do? He endorsed McCarthy. Like, this was not years ago. This was 2022.
See, and I think the
he
reason
endorsed McCarthy for speaker. I'm sorry, no, it was this year because McCarthy went up for speaker, and Trump endorsed McCarthy for speaker. So I mean, I have reservations about that's a cogent criticism of Trump.
And I think the reason that you and I are kind of different on those side of things of like why I would just be like, you know what, forget it, I'll vote for DeSantis, even though I have concerns, of course, just like you. I don't disagree with what you just said, but I wouldn't stay home because of the fact of I think you and I have a different opinion on the state of America, the decaying of America, and me, it's like, you know, if it's a bandage, it's a bandage, you know, versus, you know, you who I think is like, well, it's decaying, and, you know, a bandage isn't going to help it. We need, you know, the help, which I understand that too.
That's not a bad way of putting it.
Me, it's like, look, if we can stop the bleeding, we can eventually get to the hospital to an extent. But then there begs the question, well, is it business as usual? I understand that. You know, so I understand the worry. Me, so there's like the hopeful side of me is like, well, I'm thinking hopefully America is starting to kind of wake up a little bit, you know, so yeah, we could make it to the hospital this time if we put the bandage on it, if we had to.
So, hypothetical scenario, DeSantis gets the nomination.
Yeah.
Does Trump run independent?
I hope not.
Do you think he will?
I really don't know.
I feel like that's
if he thinks it's a fair election, then no, he doesn't run independent. But if he thinks it was somehow rigged, and we know how much he goes off of polls, see, that's the problem I have with polls. It's like, you have so many stinking polls, it's not even, you know, it's not even funny. So depending on what the polls say, he probably possibly runs independent.
I think that's a complete
I just hope he doesn't.
I think it's a coin toss. I think it could happen, but it might not happen.
I just don't want him running independent.
And that, I was talking to one friend that I'll tell you off air said this. If that happens, what probably happens is Biden gets 45%, Trump gets 20%, and then DeSantis gets 25%. And then as a result, since Biden gets the most, Biden gets in, or whoever the Democrats run.
Yeah, and that's my worry is this is definitely one time. Like, I'm always open for a bigger debate stage. Don't worry, but this is one time. I'm sorry, we need 2 options. Winner takes all. We don't need 3 options.
You know,
because
I have a hard time disagreeing with you on that.
Like, just in this instant, I have no problem with.
But I would say that the other option needs to be really good, and you're not.
Yeah.
I know you don't disagree with that, but we got to go now. I'm going to give you the last say on this, and then we need to go to questions to close. Did you want to say anything else about Trump and DeSantis? You were in the middle of something, and I kind of interrupted.
No.
Questions to close that you have, and we're both going to be answering them.
Yeah. So, question 1, I guess, is do you want to wait? Do you want a political one or like just a?
Oh, I get to choose.
Yeah.
Political one, and what are the other?
Like a nerdy one, kind of.
Let's do the nerd one first.
All right. So, nerd question of the day, I guess, is all right. Here, we'll go with this. Nerd question of the day is, who is the best Spider-Man, character? Who has played the best Spider-Man based off of the comics? Like, so Tobey, Garfield, or Holland?
Not Holland.
You don't think so?
I don't. He's okay. I don't know. Toby is good, but that's a tough one for me.
See, I throw Toby out after 3.
Huh?
I throw Toby out after 3.
Yeah.
When Spider-Man 3 came out,
that's a tough one. I'm with you on that, but also I guess like because he had his moments that were good, you know. And I've seen some of Garfield. I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen a full movie with Garfield as Spider-Man. Like I haven't seen Amazing or Amazing 2.
Oh really?
But that
Amazing
said,
2 kind of sucks.
I've seen some of it. Like I've seen clips.
Yeah.
And what I saw, I actually kind of liked.
Yeah.
But then the question is, okay, but is that Peter Parker from the comics?
Exactly.
And I would say, just by default, it'd have to be Toby or Andrew because there's no Uncle Ben with Tom Holland. There's no.
You have Aunt May.
You have Aunt May, but no Uncle Ben.
But do you have to have Uncle Ben? Like, we
to
all
me,
know the story.
When it
of
comes
Uncle
with canon, yes. That's first of all.
Yeah.
Secondly, the close relationship with Spider-Man. I'm sorry, with Iron Man is interesting, but I don't like it. I like the more classic where he does a lot of his own stuff.
Yeah. And Iron Man does come into the picture later.
He does, but it's different.
It's not as soon as Tom. I get that.
And so for that reason, it would have to be Toby or Andrew, and it's hard for me to answer because you answered a question. You asked a question about a character I've seen some of on screen, but not a lot. Yeah. I would just have to say Toby because I haven't seen the Andrew movies in full. But it's hard for me to answer that. I like Spider-Man. I used to watch the animated show with the kind of electronic guitar.
Yeah.
Almost every day. I loved it.
Yeah.
But the movies, I haven't seen much of. But
yeah,
same question back to you.
So, for me, Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, I'm sorry, that killed it.
Oh.
Like, if the only film that Tobey Maguire did was, like, just Spider-Man 1 or just Spider-Man 2, maybe we'd be talking about Tobey Maguire. But the fact that he did all three of those, and he kind of progressively got worse and worse, which you can blame it on the writing and everything. But I'm sorry. The acting was horrible in Spider-Man 3. In general, like there was not a good actor in Spider-Man 3. Right. Well, we didn't have the CGI. Don't care.
That cuts no glass with me. There's so many movies that didn't have CGI and are still really good movies. Yeah. You know,
like I'll give you credit. Like Toby, you get the dorky Spider-Man, but he
definitely comes across as a nerd.
Spider-Man was like there. So there's like in the comics, there's like two Spider-Mans doing it. Of course, there's a third one, older Spider-Man, but that's like the Spider-Man that coaches Miles Morales, so I don't count that one. There's two Spider-Mans. You get the young, dorky Spider-Man in high school, and there's that. And then you get the college Spider-Man, who's like actually a good, like even in the cartoons, he's a good-looking, buff dude, and everything else. So the problem I have with Toby is Toby, he has the dork look, but he's too old. Yeah, he looks too old.
Yeah, it's almost like he's not either one.
Yeah, so it's like he's kind of playing the wrong Spider-Man. Yeah, in a way, in my opinion. And so, but then the same applies to Andrew Garfield. He's playing this good-looking, college-age, Spider-Man, but he's supposedly in high school. Yeah, and it's like, now wait a minute. This don't look like a high school guy for one.
No.
But the thing that I'll give...
I mean, maybe he just had to repeat a few times.
Yeah. The thing that I'll give Garfield is he gets the sarcasm down. Like, he's funny. Yes. I mean, he's legitimately funny. The thing that... And I don't know if this should be a thing against him. His villains suck.
Yeah, I'm sure. So the clips I've seen of the villains just were not.
And then, like in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, one of the end scenes is the Rhino comes in, and it's a mech.
Oh,
it's like that's not the Rhino.
No, I did not realize that. That's a joke. That's a joke.
It's a mech. It's that's like wait a minute. It's like this is not Transformers, man.
It took his job.
Yeah,
another machine took someone's job.
Oh my gosh, it's like. Well, it's a guy in a mech, but it's like that's still not the Rhino.
When Elon Musk is writing the script.
Yeah, it's like this is ridiculous. It's like and the dude that's in the mech looks stupid. But so I don't know that really ruined it for me. As far as that goes, now I like Andrew. Don't get me wrong, Andrew. If they do an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Andrew might become my Spider-Man because that would have to be where he gets the black suit. Now, if he does that if he does that Venom encounter and the symbiote encounter unlike what Toby did.
See
that's where it killed him.
He's running out of time.
Toby with the black suit.
Andrew
killed
Garfield's not getting any younger. He's running out of time.
Yeah,
he's got to do it and do it soon.
I agree.
And I kind of doubt it because I think Tom Holland's got it because they're going to do more movies with him, and I just don't see that coming together.
The demand. See, a lot of people like Andrew.
Yeah.
And I think the demand's there for it. Plus, I think there is an issue of Venom, like the Sony issue, because both those guys are Sony, so the film would just be easier to make.
That's true.
So I think there is more potential there.
That would actually be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I'd love to see that, and I think we'd finally get the Spider-Man 3 that we're supposed to get.
That would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool.
But honestly, Tom Holland, right? He's in high school. He's a young kid.
He looks like
he looks young.
He's not. He's our age.
Yeah,
but he
at least looks.
He's youthful enough where he actually could play the part.
So you could if you didn't know anything about Tom Holland, it's like, oh yeah, that's a high school kid. You could believe it. You could believe, that's a high school kid. So he's got that down. He's got the attitude down of. Dorkish guy, but also developing into this hey, I'm getting Mary Jane, and everything. Right. So there's that. He's funny to an extent. I think
he is in a certain way.
He doesn't. I think Garfield beats him on snarky and everything and sarcasm, but I still think that I think that Tom Holland's the way he's developed, he's figuring out Spider-Man, so his stuff, his funny is still figuring it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's developing the snarky as it goes along and everything. A little bit, So I gotta go with the best Spider-Man I've seen so far. Honestly, is Tom Holland.
Okay.
That's probably where I'm at.
My big thing with him is I don't know where this character goes after the No Way Home, but they may do something to bring it back and. That could be. Yeah. Marvel's gone off the deep end with me. Where the only one that I was interested in watching was Guardians 3, and now that's out.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much done. The only one that I would have any interest in, and this would be a stretch, is Doctor Strange 3. But I would have to hear from someone like you or another good friend that it's good. Otherwise, I'm pretty much out.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's just been so much that was supposed to be really good, and
They've messed up so much.
Just a bunch of letdowns.
And I mean, what's next? I think Miss Marvel and everything like that. I don't like
the Marvels.
Yeah,
I saw the trailer for that and about threw up.
Oh, well, it's... Nobody's asking for that movie.
Exactly.
Look, I'm not opposed to it, but nobody's asking for that movie.
You know what I would like to see? Nobody said
that. Comic-Con? No.
Yeah, nobody said that.
Nobody asked for that. Yeah. Nobody.
Who? It's one person?
People want
the director.
Well, see, here's the problem. People also want to know where the heck is the MCU even going? It's not.
That's back.
It's we're back to when Tobey Maguire was in movies of. We had no idea. Superhero movies, what the heck are they?
Right.
And it's
I'm with you.
It's dude, until we know where we're going, I'm kind of out on, movies and everything. So
that was kind of my point.
I'm definitely not seeing the Marvels because that it doesn't even look appealing. I'm sorry.
You should do that if you've got something in your stomach that you need to pass.
Yeah.
Then go watch it. You'll throw up.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. It's got nothing to do with a female character because, quite honestly, I like Wonder Woman and stuff, you know?
Sure.
But it's just, I'm sorry, I've never liked Captain Marvel. I've never liked the idea of Kamala Khan.
No.
And I just don't like the idea of this movie.
No.
You know? So, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm out on that one.
Well, we're getting lower on time. We got to wrap up soon. What was the other question?
Yeah, so the other question is, so now it's time for a political
question. Let us know what you think of the questions and what your answer is for them. So go ahead.
So now it's time for the political question. Going back to Twitter and everything with Tucker being on there now as far as his first show and everything. And what is a woman doing well now on Twitter and everything, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think if Tucker starts making tons of money, let's say he's going to maintain a solid viewing, and let's say he starts making tons of money, is the parallel economy going to Is the parallel economy finally forming a lot faster or more than what is talked about? Like, because we know, like, the Daily Wire, they're working on their own stuff. And we know, like, you know, Dan Bongino's got his own stuff. Everybody's got their own thing. But is this the thing? Like, was Twitter possibly the thing to, like, is this stuff finally breaking out to, hey, there's other options now?
So you're kind of asking almost two. Okay, you're not
Two,
asking.
three-ish questions.
You're not. But I'm interpreting it that way, and here's why.
Yeah.
I view the Daily Wire and Rumble completely separate from Twitter,
Right.
because they're run by people that, even though I have disagreements with certain positions that they hold,
Right.
I am closer to them than I am Elon.
Right.
So that said,
But they're growing in popularity, is what I think, even amongst liberals.
So that's what you're asking, and I'll try and answer it that way. I think in some sense, yes. But my problem is, we saw this with What Is a Woman, how much Elon is trying to do and how little he can do unless he steps directly into being involved.
Which he's done, though.
He has, and that's the thing. But that said, I mean, I just had to notice you're expressing support for Daily Wire, but there's a but in there.
Yeah.
I support this, but I'm for transgender people basically existing.
But that's his opinion.
Right. So my thing is, he's in the middle. He's not on the right. He left the Democrat Party, to his credit.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not on the right. I wouldn't say he's on the left either. I think he's just kind of in the middle. He probably leans right and leans left on certain issues. That's what I would say. So that said, I don't think Twitter ever was or is going to be the platform that changes everything. That's not how you phrase the question.
Yeah.
But does it help Tucker? I think it does for a time. I'm still like, I just don't know. The monetization thing's the big thing. How are you going to feed your family? Now his wife probably works, but that's not the point. How are you going to make money, build a media company, or build a following? Can you do that on Twitter? Are you going to start making hour-long shows again?
Yeah.
And again, this is in its infancy. I get all that. I do. The other thing I'm honestly concerned about with Tucker is legal issues. Because if Fox decides to say, and you and I were talking about this in the prep, because Fox is in an interesting spot. They've got him on a contract, but they're not doing what they told him they would do. They were going to tell him, we're going to have you on air. You're going to be doing this many episodes until I think late 2024 is when his contract runs out. So they're not holding up to their end of the bargain, and they're alleging that Tucker isn't either.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get him in legal trouble, and I don't know how they can actually do that, but if they try, that throws a monkey wrench into this. That's the only question, and I have no answer to that.
I think he's got enough support and money, though, that he'd lawyer up anyway.
He could. The other thing is, there's things he could talk about that he wouldn't talk about on that show, so he may just do that. Yeah. That's one factor. Regardless, I love the idea of a parallel economy. I think that what the ultimate move is, honestly, I think what Steven Crowder did was amazing.
Yeah.
Steven Crowder's done a bunch of crappy stuff, but I think going to Rumble was a really good move.
Oh, yeah.
And Dan Bongino did it before him. I think that's a very good move.
Yeah.
Because what the Daily Wire did was, well, we're going to make our own app, our own infrastructure, and there's a lot to be said for that. That's a good idea. But saying, look, we'll do YouTube, but we're also going to go on Rumble, and that's going to be where you can actually financially support me.
Yep.
More people need to do that, and it's affected me personally in ways that I've talked about on my podcast that I can tell you in off air. But basically, I think anyone that goes off of big tech as much as possible, or just says whatever they want to say on YouTube, and it is what it is, whether they get censored or not. Yeah. I respect, but the parallel economy thing is happening. It's just a matter of how much are people going to stand on principles, what it comes down to. Are you going to continue to give support to platforms that hate you and censor voices that agree with you, or are you going to try to go to a different one? And look, Tucker probably believes that Twitter is that platform.
Yeah.
Maybe for Tucker it is, because maybe he knows Elon well enough, because they've done an interview together. Yeah. Maybe he feels like he's safe with Elon, and maybe he is. But other people are not safe with Elon. People that have come on Twitter and have come back, and then they've been banned, and they can't come back now, or have never come back. So there's people that Elon has prejudice against. It's not free speech, and that's why I think Twitter's not the platform. So we'll give you the closing words, because, again, let's pitch the question back to you.
Yeah.
What do you think about the parallel economy, so on and so forth?
So one of the things that I found interesting when you said, are people going to stand on their values and morals and everything? Parallel economy, also just thinking about it, doesn't just apply to, media and everything else. But, look at Target. Their stocks are falling. True. I think they're going to fall. I think they're actually not suffering as much because of the summer and everything. So people are, hey, I need swimwear, etc. I need all this other stuff for summer, so I'm just going, okay, Target, whatever. But after summer, I think Target falls a lot. Bud Light, still, they're kind of a stable fall, but they're still falling. Mm-hmm. And, so I think there are, and Modelo is now number one, right now. Who would have thought? But, so I do think that people are going to stand on their morals. Or at least vote with their, dollar, and at least economy wise,
I hope.
Exactly. So, and now with the subscriptions and everything, I think that Fox News, I think the right is only getting lefter, and the left is only getting more communist, right? So there's people are looking for wait, I don't like you, or people that were on the right are wait a minute, y'all are going somewhere we don't like, so no. And then people look at CNN, that are on the left, and it's wait a minute, what the heck is this? I don't want this. Mm-hmm. So people are looking for at least a center view.
Right.
So I think that, these big companies in general are kind of self-destructing, sure. And people are we need something. The parallel economy is kind of forming itself because these big tech and everything else is kind of self-destructing itself in general.
Right.
So I think that, yeah, the parallel economy is developing a lot faster and probably will be a more known thing sooner than we think, just because of the fact that CNN, Fox News, Target, Bud Light, etc., all do this. Mm-hmm. Now, then there's stuff of, the gay pride stuff, that's actually kind of come to a halt because we've seen a couple of companies, June 1st, they had, the rainbow and everything, but all of a sudden it was gone June 2nd. Versus when companies used to have it, so some companies are kind of listening, right, others are not, right. So I do think that...
I saw that too.
I do think that the parallel economy is kind of working and is going to develop a lot faster, mm-hmm. If people continue to do the things that they're doing.
The other thing I think about is Eric July making the Rippaverse, which is a comics universe that's not going to be woke.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I want to say when he went live, I don't know if his site crashed, but he got the sheer volume was so huge that he's overwhelmed. He loves it. He's so overwhelmed emotionally.
Yeah,
he's just
awesome.
So happy that he's gotten the support that he has because he became known as I'm making a comic book universe and it's not going to have this nonsense in it. And it's going to have a black character, but it's actually going to be a cool black character, not a token black character. Yeah, because he's a black man.
I know.
And he actually has said, I'm going to have a character like the most famous black character in comics. I believe he actually can do it.
People want to say, people want to say, oh, it's because they're black or because they're women that you don't like those characters. It's I don't think you understand. In video games, a lot of times, me being a nerd, I play as a woman sometimes just because sometimes those characters actually are well written and actually are cooler, right?
Have or abilities.
Sometimes I play as the black character. Why? Because they're well written and just cooler than everybody else. Right, so it's I don't think you understand. Nerds don't care.
Yeah.
As long as it's well written and they're badass, it's fine.
Sure.
Nobody cares. They just don't want this other crap shoved in their face. I don't care if that character is Chinese. I don't care as long as it's a well-written character and not communist. But
hey, China, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Not part of the CCP, but anyway. Yeah. I mean, seriously,
well, don't play Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, right. But nerds don't care. That people don't care. They just want normal stuff. People want things they can relate with, but
that's a low bar.
But just sitting there well, we got to make it black so black people can relate. That's a token. Nobody wants the token.
Right.
That they don't want it. Just make make a black character and make him well written because he's cool. And then yes, black kids can relate to him. That's great. But like, don't pander. Nobody likes to pander.
Right.
So yeah, I mean no. But there's never this thing, especially in the nerd community at least. There is not this thing, and you know this, of like, man, I can't stand this character because he's black.
Like
Nobody says that.
Just imagine you're like on the main menu selecting a character. It's like, ugh, like
Yeah.
no, who does that?
People love Miles Morales.
Right,
People like Spawn. Yes, he's black. You know, people like these Black Panther. You know, So it's like, and that's just an Blade. You know, again, I can go on and on about this stuff, but it's a matter of how these characters are written and their backstories, et cetera, et cetera. It's got nothing to do with race in the nerd community.
Well, guys, we got to wrap it up there. Great questions. We're going to close the show with a question to close, 2 questions to close typically or more. And so thank you so much for following us. You can go and follow us on Instagram at zoo_nation_. You can find us at zoonation1776 on Twitter. And find us everywhere else. It's just Zoo Nation. Telegram is just regular t.me/ZooNation. Facebook, find us under Zoo Nation. Our logo is all the same, so if you see the familiar logo, it's us. We do not have a rainbow logo.
Yeah.
So, nor ever will we.
If we do, we got hacked.
Yeah, if we do, we got hacked. That's right.
Or Josh has gone off the rails.
Yeah, well, not going to happen. Yeah, I'm going to go with the first one if we get hacked. The only time I would do that is if it started to flood. I would be like, woohoo, we're going to have a rainbow. But yes, thank you for following us. We've got more things to go into in the next show, so very much looking forward to Zoo Nation episode 21, which will be next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 20 of Zoo Nation. I'm Josh.
I'm Nathan.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Everyone take care and have a great evening.